Good morning. Some of you know that I love to run. I'm not the fastest runner, but I'm dedicated, I'm persistent, and I'm a finisher. And I'll do whatever it takes to finish a race. Even if it's towards the middle or the back of the pack, I'm still going to finish. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you get injured, but you just got to keep pressing forward if you're going to finish the race. And having run very long races, it gives me a great appreciation for what the writer of Hebrews says in chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. If you could turn to Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. In the previous chapter of Hebrews, we see many examples of men and women who lived by faith. And we know, as Brother Jamie said in the Sunday school class from Ephesians 2:8, that faith is a gift from God. But it's not just a list of people that lived moral lives and did good things. It's a group of people that started a race and finished it because of the faith that was given to them. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith it is impossible to please him. And he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And this is the testimony of the witnesses that we see in Hebrews chapter 11. People who received the gift of faith and sought the Lord diligently, and they persevered to the end of the race. Whether you're a slow runner or a fast runner, you have two things in common. First, you want to finish the race, and second, you want to do it with as much ease as possible. This means that you don't want to carry anything or wear anything that's going to weigh you down. You want to wear the thinnest shorts possible, the thinnest shirt possible, the lightest shoes possible. It may not seem like a big deal at the beginning of the race, but once you get 5 miles in or 10 miles in, you feel that it is a big deal. You may start the race when it's cold out and wear a jacket, but after a few miles in, you're going to have that jacket wrapped around you because it's just weighing you down and it's too hot. Maybe some of you have hiked or backpacked with a heavy load on your back. When you stop for lunch or whatever and take that pack off, you kind of feel like you're walking on air because you got that weight off your back. I think one of the most important things in verse 1 is not that we're laying aside every sin that besets us. We know we're commanded to put to death the deeds of the body. Romans 8:13 says, for if you live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if you through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. Ephesians 4:22 says that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt, according to the deceitful lusts. And Colossians 3:5 says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil, concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. But it's not just sin that's keeping us from running the race. Verse 1 also says we need to lay aside every weight. It may be 5 miles into the race before you realize the jacket's not helping you, but as soon as you realize it's not helping you anymore, you're going to get rid of it. And I think we all have many things in our lives that hinder us from running the race that is not necessarily sin. When we're running, we need to ask ourselves, is this thing in my life helping me run the race? Is it drawing me closer to God? Is it strengthening my faith? It may not be sin, but if it's not helping us run the race and fight the good fight, then do we really need it in our lives?
Amen. That's good.
There's two ways we're commanded to run. First, we're commanded to run with patience. We're promised there will be trials, temptations, suffering, and crosses to bear. Luke 9:23-24 says, and he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me.
Yeah.
For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it, but whoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. And Luke 21:16-19 says, And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brothers and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. We have to run with patience because we know the reward that is waiting for us. We have to run with patience because we know by faith all those who have gone before us have successfully finished the race. And most importantly, we have to run with patience because it is the perfect example of what Christ showed when he lived on this earth.
Amen.
The second way we are commanded to run is by looking to Christ. The only way to finish this race is by looking straight ahead unto Christ. If we look back, we'll trip up, and that's what Satan wants us to do, is look back at the sins of our past, and that's not what we need to do. We need to look straight ahead to Christ. What is the example that Christ gave us? Philippians 2:5-8 says, Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found fashioned as a man, he humbled himself, and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Running and finishing the race is not something that we can do on our own. Verse 2 says that Jesus is the author and finisher of our faith. How is Jesus the author and finisher of our faith? He's the author by enduring the cross and despising the shame. And he's the finisher by sitting down at the right hand of God and making our salvation complete. We know the promises of God are true and right. And if we run this race to the glory of God, that what Paul says in Philippians 1:6 will be true for us, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ.